I want to share with you inside of your packet, there's one case study. I'd like for you to take a look at it right now. It's on the left-hand side of your packet at the last page, and there's a group in Kelowna. I'd like for you to take a moment right now to just look at that story, and you'll find something really interesting that takes place in Kelowna. I want to give you about a minute and a half to just read through this story, and then we're going to discuss this. I want you to discuss it real quickly on your table, what you found interesting about this group in Kelowna, Iowa. So let's take about a minute and a half to read through this. Let me get some of the highlights of what your table found interesting. What were some of the highlights? Some of the highlights that your table found interesting. What did you guys come up with?
Established a culture for teachers to go for.
They established the culture for teachers to pursue funding. This is a huge one because oftentimes we have resources that we are completely overlooking. Okay? So what happens when your teachers, your principals, and your schools within your districts are empowered to pursue funding themselves? And at the district level, you have somebody helping to coordinate those efforts and assist them and aid them. Think about it. If your school district has 30 schools in it, for instance, now you have 30 schools pursuing grants collectively. This school was empowered, and this place, what was the population again? What? 2,000 what? It was a small school district.
250 students.
And yet they brought in over some $1 million over the course of those 3 years. What else did you guys find interesting as you discussed this?
Well, the reason it's $1 million is the $885,000 grant.
They got a large one. So they got a large state federal grant as well. So you had small grants that were maybe being pursued more from the foundation level, and then they had this huge one that was secured as well. Good. What else did you discuss that stood out to you?
Well, we didn't discuss this at the table, but success breeds success. So they had to start with some grants that weren't that big, just to get the experience and understand the know-how behind achieving a winning grant.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It started small, and then as time continued, it grew in size. And that's very typical with funding. And it's also it helps you to become more magnetic because with funding, the bottom line with funding, funders want to know that they're not funding all your fund. It's no fun to fund all your fund. Okay? I know it's a simple statement, but I'm going to say it again. It's no fun to fund all of your fund. And when districts make themselves more attractive, where when other funders see that you're getting funding from other sources, that makes you more attractive to the funders as well. Thank you.
We have the same
You have the same what now?
Well, what you just said is very true. When you begin to get grants and when you begin to get funding, there are other people that start calling and say, what's going on? We just had that with the Verizon Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
We just got word of about a $3 million grant to my district that we were not even expecting. But it's because of what the network, whatever it is, that people know. And in our particular case, it has to do with innovation.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's great.
True.
That's great. And schools districts could do a better job of, once you get grant funding,
advertise it.
Exactly. And promote it. Hey, we're so thankful to be getting this grant from so-and-so and so-and-so, and putting it out there so that others know, because again, it's almost like, I like to say it like this, funders have a sixth grade mentality. Remember when you're in sixth grade, your friend called you, told you they're going to be having a birthday party, and they said, hey, I may be having this birthday party, won't you come over? What did you want to know?
I want to know where it is, when it is, and can I be there?
Exactly. Yeah, where it is, when is it, and what did you say?
Who else is coming?
And who else is going to be at this party? Because depending on who else is going to be at this party, it's going to help me to determine if I want to come to the party. And that's a classic example of what you just pointed out as well. When funders start knowing that, you become more attracted to the funders. So these are system type of issues that I want to encourage your district to look at. because when you do so, you can begin to attract more funding. The other thing I would say as I get ready to conclude and wrap up is if your district can get trained and then say, okay, great, what do we need to do? How do we build these systems? How do we put these systems in place? And then empower your schools to go after funding, then you'll find more funding coming your way. I want to point out a couple things to you. Here's some people. Here's one young lady that came into one of our trainings. She knew doodly squat about grant writing. Her name was Catherine Timmerbolt. She was bumping her head up against the wall, but she got the systems that we talked about and turned that into $400,000 within 6 months for her school at the Brim Center. She used this system, the information in this system. We have this system in the back. It's an online piece I'll tell you about that you can access. And it's a great way to train multiple people within your district. And that is a person in the back if you're interested in finding out more information about possibly getting that on today. Here's another young lady, Nikki. She was familiar with grant management, didn't know a thing about grant writing, took the information and within her first year secured $4 million for her organization. And that $4 million, you see 2.5 there in 9 months. I talked to her later on that year she ended up securing $4 million. Here's another young guy with his city that helped to raise $4 million, and this was within 1 year. The bottom line is this: it takes time. However, you want to get the systems in place and you want to get the right information to pursue from the right funders. This is another young lady. She just wrote me last week. Let me know that she secured $57,000 for her organization in the Dallas area.